Hi, I'm Pam Borkowski-Valentine, and I work in the Office of Institutional Research at Swarthmore College. In this video, I'm going to review using SPSS to delete select cases from a National Student Clearinghouse individual detail return file. Depending on your project specifications, you may want to delete some individual records before unduplicating your file. For example, you may need to delete records for students who are not enrolled for a specific number of calendar days, or you may want to only look at 4 years of data while your return file holds 6. In this video, I'm going to remove records that occurred after December 31st, 2013, and remove records for enrollments of 30 days or less for a fall-spring term, or 10 days or less for a summer term. In this example, I'm setting fall-spring terms to have an enrollment begin date of August 15th through April 30th, and summer terms to have an enrollment begin date between May 1st and August 14th. This can get complicated with winter terms or accelerated courses in the fall or spring terms, so it's important to carefully consider at what point you would want to keep the record, as well as the term dates that you will set for your project. And I kept the syntax for these two sets of deletions separate so that they can be done individually. And we just can't look at the enrollment status variable because some schools do not include enrollment statuses, and in this example file we see that for School B. Also, you may want to consider someone to have transferred if they were at another institution for a specific period of time, even if they did not complete the entire term. For example, if somebody enrolls in September and withdraws in late November, would you want to consider that a transfer record even though they did withdraw? We're going to start by changing the enrollment begin, end, and graduation dates into a more standard date format. So I'm doing alter type to get them into string, and then I'm just going to use the date and time wizard to put them in standard date format. And I'm just going to move those up. And when you run that syntax, you are going to see a number of error messages just because there's a number of blank cells for graduation records or begin and end enrollment dates for those who have no records. So now I'm going to calculate the number of calendar days in between the enrollment begin and the enrollment end dates. And again, I'm just going to move that up. Okay, so we can now see the calendar days for the days enrolled. The next step is to set the begin enrollment date into one of two categories, summer or fall spring. And we're going to do this so that we can have different criteria for deleting a summer case versus a fall spring case. And again, I'm just going to move that up. Okay, now we're ready to delete. I'm going to run through two deletion examples. In the first example, we're going to delete any records that have 30 calendar days or less in a spring-fall term or 10 days or less in a summer term. Graduation records don't have the same enrollment begin or end dates and therefore no calculated calendar days or terms, so I'm making sure to keep those records as well. And in this example, I'm not going to worry about deleting the only record someone may have, since we are not keeping the records where no record was found either. So if someone's only enrollment was for 15 days in a fall term, their one record will be deleted and they will not appear in the resulting file, just like anyone else who did not have any records found. So I'm first going to run the test that selects the cases but doesn't delete them yet. We can see here that this person enrolled for 8 days in a spring or fall term will be deleted, as will this record for 8 days in a summer term. The summer term for 24 days will be kept. This record for 20 days in a spring or fall term will be deleted, and note that this is the only record for that person. And we're going to delete this record where no record is found. And we are also making sure to keep the graduation record. Okay, I'm going to run the second block, which looks at what we will be deleting based on records that occur after the date that we set of December 31st, 2013. And again, I kept these separate because your project, you may not want to do both types of deletions. So with this deletion, we would be deleting this record. It's 122 days in the spring or fall, but the enrollment begin date does begin after our December 31st, 2013 date. Okay, so now I'm going to run both syntaxes that will actually delete the cases. And as you can see, we did lose those records. And I'm going to go ahead and save this as example 1. And I'm just going to go ahead and reopen my original file and close out of my example 1. And let me go ahead and rerun the syntax that we're up to. Okay, so the second way that I'm going to delete the cases preserves the no record found cases and changes those with only one record who would otherwise be deleted into a no record found. So I first need to get a count of how many records people have. And I'm just going to go ahead and move all of these back up to the top. Okay, so now that I have the count, I'm going to run the syntax, which doesn't delete, to check what will be deleted. And again, the first one I'm running is for the 30 days or less for fall or spring, or 10 days or less for summer. So as we can see here, the 8 calendar days for the fall or spring will be deleted, as will the 8 for the summer. But in this instance, the person with one record that we deleted before, we're going to keep and then modify. Same with this one record that's a no record found. And just for the purposes of this example, I'm going to change this record that occurs after December 31st, 2014 to a 1 record found, just to demonstrate that we're going to keep that case too when we run the next block of syntax. So this block again would normally delete this one record, but since we changed it to only having one case, we're going to preserve this record and change it to a no record found, just as a demonstration. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and delete both blocks of syntax. And so we see we did keep this one record as an example. We kept this one as well as this one, but we did get rid of our 8 enrollment days. So in this next step, we're going to go ahead and change this to a no record found and this to a no record found. And again, this we're just changing as an example of showing that it works for both types of deletions. So this block changes the calendar days, and this block will change the yes to a no for records that are greater than our December 31st, 2013 date. Okay, so we see a no record found here, and we see a no record found here. Now you could just leave it that way and just always select record found equals yes when you're running tables or frequencies, but I think it could also be a good idea to delete some or all of variables that you might run frequencies on, just to ensure that the values won't accidentally be included, especially if you're coming back to this 6 months later. Running the syntax changes some of the variables, such as 2-year, 4-year, the college name, public, private, enrollment begin and end dates, calendar days, and term type, to blank cells. This way, they're not accidentally included in your analyses. Feel free to add other variables to the syntax. For example, I left the original enrollment begin and end dates from the Clearinghouse, but you can of course go ahead and make those blank cells as well. Okay, so we've deleted select cases, so you can go ahead and unduplicate and work with your file as your project dictates.